Hello everybody, hope you're doing fantastically well. It's Connor here and we are back with, I keep wanting to say rumour mill. Should we say rumour mill now? I don't know what to do. Is it Daily Leeds, Leeds United news? I've got to figure out my USP for this summer. But yeah, we'll go with just another One Leeds video. How about that? But yeah, we're going to start discussing everything One Leeds and everything Leeds United in the coming days and all this sort of good stuff. We've got another video on the Patreon account if you want to check that out, guys. The Car with Connor, which is where I go and ramble about everything in my head when it comes to Leeds and just general life, which I do in the car pretty much every single day. Upload it on the Patreon and everyone seems to enjoy it, so head on over there for that content. We've got Generation Leeds coming in the next 24 to 48 hours. We've potentially got the debrief coming tonight. Hold on. David Brown it was his birthday yesterday. I have no idea how hungover he is. Gabe's been moving house. It's all carnage in the debrief sphere. So don't worry. I think we're going to be bringing that back either tonight or tomorrow. We're not doing we're not ignoring the debrief. There needs to be a full debrief on what's gone on this season. So yeah, I hope you're all doing really well. There's 400 of you in the building, which is amazing. At 9:30, please make sure you're smashing a like on the video. Make sure you comment in. And I'd just like to say, I told you guys the other day of why I came off Twitter, and hey guys, any publicity is good publicity. If you've got haters, you're doing all right. So yeah, I'm actually like in a very sort of like different headspace about it now. But I'd like to say, and it's because of you guys, like the messages I got on Instagram yesterday. I got back online later on. I got 427 messages. So I'm trying to reply as much as possible. But thank you so much, and yeah, your support's really nice, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, if you want to catch all the updates for Leeds United from One Leeds, we are now exclusively, I should say, on One Leeds FC on Instagram. Apologies if you haven't got Instagram, but you can set an account up if you want one. It's free, it's easy, and all this sort of good stuff. Right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into some of your comments. Morning, Mark. Morning, Jennifer. Hello. Morning, Ben. Hello, my friend. I need a debrief for sure. I do. I need a debrief. The debrief helps my mental state when it comes to Leeds United. Noel Max says, hi from Perth, Western Australia. The Championship channel, let's call it that. We're still in the league of... we're still in the Premier League, like when you look at the standings, which is quite depressing because it's like, oh my God, I still can't believe Luton are replacing Leeds United. It's nuts. Rafi says, sorry, morning Con, I've been watching it since the In Full Swing days. Thanks for the quality Leeds content throughout the season. Yeah, quick shout out to you, Rafi, the In Full Swing days, where I was just doing generic podcasts. You can filter and go to the oldest videos on One Leeds if you want to check out In Full Swing, which was the initial podcast site that this was supposed to be. It was a mixture of Leeds and general content. Looking forward to what you have to say. Morning from Brisbane. Hello, my friend. Hope you're all doing well. Blue Leader says, morning, Connor. Hiya, mate. Hi, Connor. Rads better not be staying. We need a new start. Morning, Connor from Iceland, says Aina. Hi, mate. Morning, Connor. Checking in from work. Don't tell the boss. Yeah, I'm starting later because of this, everyone. So I hope you appreciate that. I'm going on till 7 o'clock because of a One Lead stream that needs to happen. Right. Enough waffle. Enough of me just talking rubbish, which I'm doing pretty much every single day at this moment in time, but you guys are still here for whatever reason. Let's get into the news. We've got loads to talk about. The thumbnail is something that I'm going to start on. Andrea Radrizzani, his first bid has been rejected, which is hilarious in itself. I know there's negotiation, but by God, this guy's been planning on buying Sampdoria, allegedly for around 4 to 5 months, and Ferrero, who is the chairman at Sampdoria's turned around and said absolutely no chance with your initial bid. So obviously Radrizzani's company Acer are linking up with QSI and they're trying to buy Sampdoria. It looks like once again, I thought it'd be a case where he's getting, he's leaving on Monday. I thought it'd be a quick transaction. I genuinely believed, for whatever reason, why do I keep believing what I read? It's not like me, but apparently it's started to happen now. That as soon as Leeds got relegated, there was going to be some sort of plan. Leeds are sold for 150 million. Rads loses out on 250 million. Happy days, but we're sold on to the San Francisco 49ers. Hold your thoughts on that, and we're going to get onto that in just a little bit, the 49ers. But with regards to the sale of Leeds United so that Rads could get the capital to buy Sampdoria, apparently that needed to happen. He needed to have the funds present. Apparently that he couldn't be getting loans and instalments out like that. He had to get a lot of the cash from the Leeds United sale. He's not a rich man. We know that. He had to get an investor arm from QSI. So overall, it's getting to a space now where Radrizzani is getting to that point where he's going to have to significantly increase his bid. We don't know what the bid was. It seems quite elusive on the internet. I've been trying to find it this morning. Can't figure that out. But overall, his bid has been rejected. That's his first bid. So we'll wait and see what happens. Is he going to go in for a second bid? Is Ferrero going to be looking at him, the Sampdoria chairman, and thinking, nah, you're not doing this, mate? Apparently, he's very, very keen on doing it himself. So obviously Sampdoria are in a whole world of hurt. There could be points deductions. There is apparently clubs looking at suing them for various reasons. There's a player exodus. It's carnage, basically, at Sampdoria. So apparently the owner wants, that there is an understanding that apparently if the offer isn't met, he's happy to take on the challenge, which is very admirable. It's commendable. But will a significant offer from Andrea Radrizzani twerk his interest a little bit more? Is there going to be is this just mind games? And it is, business. Oh, I'm fine. I'm going to stick here. Nope, I'm not going to accept any offers. Go 20 million high, go 30 million high. Okay, I'll consider it. Money talks, everyone. So it is hilarious, though, how his first bid has been rejected, and that fills me with a lot of joy. So I hope Rads has to go higher and higher and higher and higher. But then you've got to ask the question, is Rads going to get bored at some point? But it feels like at this moment in time, he needs to have a football club because he needs validation, appreciation, all the superlatives, because that is him. He's a very sensitive man. I think he wants to be adored. He probably sees himself as a bit of a godlike figure. I'll come in and save the day. But it's just interesting how a statement was released yesterday, and I was reading the statement from Asa, his holding company, and nothing was mentioned about Leeds United. He was talking about the gratitude of the Sampdoria fans. They deserve better. We're going to go in and we're going to change this and change that. It's like, Rads, you still own a football club. You were jet setting across the world, owning a football club and just completely ignoring what was going on. I'm sure your financial situation was stable when it came to us staying up and you selling for 450, or us going down and you selling for 150, 200. But let's be honest, mate, you own a football club. What about the gratitude to us? What about the programme notes? What about you being in the ground? What about you showing some appreciation to the fans that have stuck by this club for so long and put money in your pocket? You know what I mean? Where are you? Where's your name on those programme notes? Where's your name on a club statement? Where are you as the owner, as the custodian, as the leader of this football club? You're nowhere, because you're not getting the appreciation anymore. You're getting, unfortunately, criticised for your lapsed, naive, negligent way of running a Premier League football club, which is arguably the worst in the division. So, you get everything that's coming to you. You deserve everything that's coming to you. Karma is a real thing, in my opinion. But it's unfortunate that Leeds United are in this predicament and they're in the middle of it, because we need a sale to get him out, get rid of all that, get rid of the toxicity that is that previous ownership, and we need a fresh start. But everybody, we need this quickly. 10 to 11 weeks till the start of the Championship season. The fixtures are getting released really soon. I think they're getting released in the next week or two. We already know Sheffield Wednesday are going to be there. The last of the, it's going to be Sheffield Wednesday, it's going to be Plymouth, it's going to be Ipswich. That's done now. It's all going to start moving very, very quickly. Southampton have got Russell Martin in. That's signed, sealed and delivered. He's going to be their manager. The advantage for Leeds, in a strange sort of way, and a negative really, because we've had a week less than Southampton because they've known they've been relegated. I'd have actually rather been relegated sooner. So we'd have been able to put the plans in place quicker, because Southampton have got a head start now, haven't they? They've probably had 11, 12 weeks off in their head because they've been relegated for 2 weeks. So that's the thing that we're mitigating against here. Leeds have got to get their cards in order. I keep saying this. They've got to get their cards in order. This guy's got to be binned off. 10 to 11 weeks to sort this entire football club is nothing. And this is why I think people have got to be a bit more realistic about us going up as champions, even promoted. There is going to be so much change at Leeds United. And when the change happens, Leeds have then got to, implement that stuff. A lot of people always quote to me Burnley and talk about Burnley and the change. Quite correct to do. But Burnley's ownership, the American ownership that came in, that was already done behind the scenes. And that is a fact. That was already done. They already knew before the season was ending it was going to American ownership. The whole controversy with Burnley was they didn't know what was going to happen. They had no idea. So, as in, what's going to happen? Are we going to keep the same brand of football? What's going to happen? There was talk of him not putting money in, and he's done it perfectly well. We still don't know what's going on. There was talk of the American as well. He was coming out and making statements. He was coming out and talking on American TV about taking Burnley and all this sort of stuff. We hear nothing from the 49ers. Nothing. So fascinating to to discuss, really. Where does this leave Leeds? Now, the Samp deal isn't going to plan for Rads because, thanks for your donation, Lee, by the way, mate, really appreciate that, because the 49ers don't want Rads at Leeds if they take over. Off the field needs sorting now if we are to get back to the Premier League. You're right, Lee. Completely right, and that's literally a great summary of what I was saying. You know, it needs to be sorted quickly. If it's not sorted quickly, we can forget about getting promoted straight away. We can forget about it, and then you got to think the parachute payments get less and less over the 3-year period. So Leeds need this sorting quickly. They're saying it on Sky Sports when they were discussing Leeds United's relegation. It all needs to be sorted off the field. Leicester are the exact same. You know, Leicester need to sort what's going on off the field. The stable club right now, when you look at what's going on, probably the player, keeping hold of certain individuals is Southampton. You know, probably going to sell James Ward-Prowse, obviously, but, you know, maybe Bella Kotchap, maybe. But who else? You know, there's not going to be big clubs coming in for these players because these are players that have got relegated to finish bottom. They've not been performing this season, but the Championship is a completely different level to the Premier League. You know, and Southampton, for me, if you actually look at their squad, they have a Championship-ready squad. So they're ready to go. They've got the manager in. They'll make a couple of decent additions, but I don't think there's going to be a wholesale change there. So I think Southampton right now, if we're looking at it, we've still got the entire summer to go. But right now, as we speak, they are prepared and they're ready. Yeah. Lavia, of course. Yeah, I mean, there's an expectancy that Leeds are going to be keeping hold. Southampton are going to be keeping hold of him, but there are a lot of clubs looking at him. But that relegation on your CV, that can make a big impact. More chance of back-to-back relegation and mess, says Stephen Brown. Steve, you're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong, and I don't want to turn around and talk about this being a complete negative spiral, but there is potential that it could be. We know what happens with Leeds United. We're in a much better space than we were in 03 and 04. But to continue this better space, Leeds have to get everything in order. If nothing's in order, and we're going to get onto the 49ers, we're in a little bit. I think we're in a little bit of trouble. Leeds United news as new manager hunt already underway at Ellen Road. Leeds United are already considering new managers to replace Sam Allardyce for in the Championship, and talks are expected about his future this week, according to the Daily Mirror. Okay. So let's break this down. Do we want Big Sam as manager? Absolutely not. Why do we not want Big Sam as manager? Because he plays prehistoric football, relies on experience, and I don't think has the motivation to get Leeds back to the big time. What manager do we need? We need a manager who wants to dictate possession. We need a manager who is hungry, who is young, who is ready for the task, and an obvious choice. That's what we need right now. And we need to get the house in order very, very quickly. Now, I don't really understand how a manager can be picked and we can be having talks with managerial appointments, Sam Allardyce, yada, 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 when Leeds don't know their ownership structure. We have no idea. We have no idea on who's coming in, or, you know, the 49ers coming in. We'll get onto that in just a little bit. Is Rad's going to turn round because there's no obligation to take over Leeds United as the majority shareholder. There isn't, from what we've read. So apparently the obligation would have been triggered if Leeds stayed in the Premier League. So we're in a bit of flux at the minute. So is Rad's going to turn around if he doesn't, get the Sampdoria deal and think, do you know what, I'm going to go at this again? Is he going to do that in 6 weeks' time? We know what he's like. We know what he's like. We know that this could happen. On the other side of the card, we could also have a deal sorted very, very quick. But it does almost seem to rely on Sampdoria at the minute, because you feel like Rad's ego would be hurt. It seems like very Chileno right now. I don't know if you guys feel like that, but it feels like the circus is very, very close to starting again, in my opinion. Which is slightly worrying. It's slightly worrying, and this is why Rads needs to pull his finger out of his arse and leave. But I need to hear a little bit more from the 49ers. But when it comes to the hierarchy, you're looking at the owners come in, sporting director come in, manager come in, players come in, and players go out, whatever. That's the structure. That's how you go about things. That's the action plan. I don't understand how we're looking at managers right now. I don't really get that. And I don't really get how you can talk to... I mean, the Big Sam stuff is probably because, it's got to the end of the season and we're just going to tell him bye-bye. But if for whatever reason Sam Allardyce is in contention to take on the job next year, oh dear. That's all I'll say. Oh dear. Because then there's clearly no strategy. There's clearly no plan. They gave him the managerial job with 4 games to go. He's got 1 point. As we predicted on One Leeds, as we came on here and said, as we got abused for coming on and saying he was never going to get any more than 0. I actually said at the start he'd get 0 points. Got a point against Newcastle, fair play. I didn't think he'd get, I thought we'd get nowhere near. And unfortunately, that's proven to be right. We've got nowhere near because the whole structure of the club. Big Sam doesn't come in and is able to motivate these players and is able to get the squad selections right that keep us in the Premier League. It was never going to happen. Leeds were on a downward trajectory. The mentality of this squad is so weak and fragile, and the quality is not good enough on the pitch. You know, we all knew that. So, yeah. Let's have a look. What some of you guys are saying. Dave Carroll says, John Dal Thomason in, Gyökeres or Akpom Conalad. Yeah, definitely, mate. I think I put out yesterday, I can't quite remember if Akpom was on loan. I wasn't sure to Borough from Arsenal or if they've signed him, which would be interesting. But Jon Dahl Thomason's done a really, really good job at Blackburn. Heard from a few people that he's a bit strict and a bit cold, which probably would work at Leeds. They need their arse kicking into gear, to be quite honest with you, and we all know that. Because I'm sick and tired of the the asylum being run by the inmates at the minute. But yeah, Gyökeres, I don't think Gyökeres will come. I think he'll go to a Premier League side. But Akpom's definitely a possibility. It's Matty. Hiya, mate. Hope all's going well with the channel and stuff like that. Matty's got a cracking channel. Morning, lad. Hope you're well. For me, I think it's Southampton have the chance to bounce back up to the Prem as they have everything in place. I'd honestly be surprised if we made playoffs. You're not wrong, Matt. You're not wrong at all, mate. And cheers for your donation, bud. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I agree. I think we're at a stage now where if plans aren't put into place in the next week or week and a half, my mentality, you guys know what I'm like. My mentality is just going to go back down, spiraled, and you guys will be calling me negative again. Because I don't trust them. I do not trust them. I've not trusted them for a long time now. And I do not trust that if this isn't done in a week and a half to 2 weeks, listen, guys, and for people coming back and saying, Connor, it's a takeover, it takes a long time. How long has this taken now? How long has this taken to put an action plan in place? How long have they both had dual responsibility? How long have they had dual says on signings and says on what's going on? We need a full owner. We need a proper owner at the football club. We don't need this dual ownership, this partnership ownership, this friendly vibe. It's not been so friendly, has it, last year? But things need to be sorted off the pitch for Leeds. Akpom is permanently signed. Yeah, I think we'd struggle to get him out of Borough then. Anyone saying that we're coming straight back is deluded. There's so much to sort out. Ben says, Joe tweeted Cody's open to staying. What's your thoughts on bringing in some loan players, says Subramania. Yeah, I think we've got to do it. I think I said this at the start, Subramania, when it came to how Leeds have got to do this. And I've said this multiple times. They've got to get the best manager they can do. They've got to get the top goal scorer in the league. Shout out Ethan, who put this little action plan together, and I completely agree with it. Got to get the best goal scorer in the league, and they've got to get a manager who plays possession-based football, because you get possession-based manager, you dictate play, and you are able to manipulate space and pull the opposition apart. Nobody plays with the ball in the air anymore. Nobody does it. We've done it this season. That was a transition away from Marcelo Bielsa, but that's the donuts in charge of the club that we've had to deal with for the past 2 or 3 years. Slow transition. Never forget Angus Kinnear saying that. Unbelievable. So yeah, let's get into the next bit of news, which flies on to what was said there earlier about Cody Drama. Cody Drama is open to the possibility of staying at Leeds United this summer, according to a report from the Yorkshire Evening Post. He's understood that Leeds have been in contact with Drama and his representative to provide his assurances regarding game time for the 23-24 campaign. Well done, Leeds United. Now, do I believe that this has happened? I mean, it must have done. It must have done. It must have been. Kinnear's the only one left. The only one left in the asylum when it comes to everyone else, because Rads has sacked the physios, the doctors, the kit man, the everyone behind the scenes. And then he's ran off. He sacked everyone and left Kinnear there. So I've no idea if Kinnear's got a boost in his wage and he's just sorting everything out. So he can't put the programme notes on because he's now running the club. He's the CEO, so he's going to be high when it comes to activity. So maybe he's in there when it comes to talking to Sam Allardyce right now. You presume so, because Rads is off. He's going to have no idea what's going on, in my opinion. He's probably just done that, because this is what Rads is all about. He's done that with Kinnear. You deal with it, fella. I'm going to go buy another football club. So he's probably sat there, Kinnear, dealing with the Sam Allardyce chat and dealing with the Cody Drama chat. And at last, and you feel that there's a bit of a connection there, and there will be a link there, because Kinnear's a Luton fan. So he's got to get this sorted. For us going into the start of the season, I remember the season before hearing Leeds fans cooking Cody Drama for getting rinsed by Martinelli. And I remember saying at the time, but he's only 19. Yeah, but he got rinsed by Martinelli. Well, yeah. Martinelli rinses everyone, and that was the season before. I was like, he's 19 years old, Martinelli. He's electric. He's in the Brazil national squad. And this is Cody Drama's game time. This is his game time. Coming up in a game that we lost 4-1 to Arsenal, and he's starting against Gabriel Martinelli. And in that game, Martinelli was switching sides with Saka. And he's been judged on that. He was getting battered for that game. Oh, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. And this has been the action plan. Ayling, but it's Luke Ayling. He's been with the side since promotion. It's Luke. He's Luke Ayling. He's got to be Luke over Cody Drama. Why? Why are we picking Luke Ayling over Cody Drama? We went into this season with Luke Ayling and Rasmus Christensen as our right back choices. You know, when we loaded, and we knew this going into the season. We knew this. We'd gone and scouted Rasmus Christensen, and we thought that was the contingency plan. That was the succession plan, I should say, for Luke Ayling. So Rasmus Christensen came in at 23 years old. He's the succession plan. He's the next one to come in and be that right back. He was a succession plan that we brought in. Now, thankfully, he only cost 10 million quid, but it's 10 million quid to add on to the 25 we paid for James, the 30 we paid for Aaronson, the 31 we paid for Rodrigo. So it's all an accumulative thing, and you know, you've got to sit back and analyse some of the spending, of course, but that's a different point. We'll do that in a separate video. But when you've literally got someone right there in Cody Drama who can step in and do a job, and he's been, you know, we bought him from Fulham, one of the highly touted right backs in the country for his age. He's right there. He's got Cardiff's Player of the Season this season. Yeah, but it's at Cardiff, Connor. I know it's at Cardiff. But do you think Luke Ayling's going to get Player of the Year at Cardiff? He's not after 6 months. Do you think Rasmus Christensen's going to go to the Championship and get Player of the Year anywhere? He's not. Maybe in League Two. You know what I mean? For Crawley Town or whatever. He's not going to get Player of the Year anywhere. So the fact that Cody Drama did that, he came back to Leeds and still got bombed out. And now he's just been promoted with Luton. It's the running of this club it's staggering. It is staggering. So at least, hopefully now, they can go to Cody Drama and say, look, mate, look, you are starting. Because he'll be naffed off. And he was naffed off according to reports. And it's completely understandable. He's probably looking at Luke Ayling and Rasmus Christensen. And thinking, you know, he's played, I believe he's played for the England youth setup as well. For him to be sat there and just getting loaned out and bombed out, unbelievable. You know, do we actually think, you know, going back to the Marcelo Bielsa ways of football, where you actually give the youngsters a chance and they develop and they get better and better and better? No, he's out. And he's got promoted with Luton, and Luton fans don't want to let him go. So thankfully now we've been relegated, we can now see that Cody Drama could be a better succession plan than Rasmus Christensen. That's nice to see. But yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. We'll wait and see, because I wouldn't be coming back. I'd be looking at Luton and thinking they're a Premier League club. I've stuck with them. I've played however many games he has. I've been excellent again for Luton. They all really rate me. I'd be looking at a move there. I wouldn't be coming back to Leeds. You know, I've been bombed out twice. You know, the first loan you understand for 6 months at Cardiff, I get Player of the Year. Look, Leeds, I've got Player of the Year. You know, do any of these two get Player of the Year even in a Championship setup? They probably don't. So why didn't you start me? You're loaning me out again. Right, okay. What about the stadium when Rads leaves as its ASA group? As it's the ASA group that owns the stadium, not LUFC. Yeah, I presume those rights are going to be in the agreement, you'd say, Michael. Yeah, we're not 100% sure on that one. But yeah, it is within the ASA group. That was one of Rad's first things when he came into the club, obviously buying the stadium back. So that was one of those things which was a massive tick, wasn't it? Because it was owned by a Manc property developer, which was fun, just to stick and twist that knife. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to be transitioned over. I'm sure the 49ers will 100% want that sealed over when it comes to rights, because they are all about building up facilities, building up the stadium, so they'll want to be able to manoeuvre that. But yeah, that's going to be one of the big talking points, and that's what increases the price as well. Cameron Archer from Villa would be exceptional for you boys. Hope you bounce back soon. Yeah, up the Villa 23. Thanks for that. Really appreciate that. Villa have done exceptionally well this season. Someone who, you know, a team that it's upset me really when I've looked at Villa, because I've been like, you know, look at where we were in the Championship, you know, blow for blow all those years ago when they had Grealish, we had Click, obviously that controversial game. And a look at the level what Villa have got to now, you know, Europe, Unai Emery, and apparently we had the objective of getting him at one point, Emery, and I think we went for Jesse Marsh. We should have just signed Walker Peters for 25 million. 100% action needed. Above all, a sporting director last season, of course. I thought the council owned Ellen Road before Rads. No, it was a property developer from Manchester. It's a property developer from Manchester. There you go. Next report, Mauricio Pochettino set to battle Man United for Leeds man. TMW report that Chelsea and Man United are set to battle for goalkeeper Illan Meslier. Hey, Jan. Illan Meslier. Okay, he's been good for Leeds, but look, we've said this for years on here. I think he's bigged up a lot more than what he should be by Leeds fans, in my opinion. He's got way too many holes in his game. Robles wasn't good at Spurs, but the succession of performances Robles put in since Sam's come in has been better than any succession of performances that Mellier's put in for 3 games, pretty much because Illan Meslier makes mistakes, makes great saves, but as you've seen with Robles at Man City, other goalkeepers can make great saves as well. And I think we hone in on the fact that Meslier keeps us in games, but you don't, Robles kept us in that Man City game, and he'd just come back in. There are other goalkeepers that keep you in games. You look at Crystal Palace's second goalkeeper, Sam Johnston, who is available. He kept Palace in that first half in the game against Leeds United at Ellen Road, and look what happened in the second half. That was thanks to Sam Johnston. So there are other goalkeepers who make amazing saves. Illan Meslier, for me, you might find this harsh, but I think he is one of the big contributing factors as to why Leeds United have been relegated. I think there's been too many mistakes, too many howlers, where Leeds have been in games and points have been sacrificed because of Illan Meslier. I also think he's made great saves, of course I do, and a lot of people turn around and say this is really harsh. I'm being brutally honest with you. I think if we'd have maybe had a Sam Johnston in for the entirety of the season, someone with his ability, someone with less holes in his game, I think you'd have maybe seen a little bit of a better rearguard from Leeds United, even though the defence are atrocious. But I think when it comes to shot stopping, when it comes to distribution, when it comes to handling from set pieces, he's not been good enough. And they are the basics when it comes to goalkeeping. And I don't think it's been good enough. So Illan Meslier, if we can get a decent fee for him, got a good agent, let's hope that we can get around 15 to 20 million for him. 15, 20 million for him. And then you're looking at it and you're thinking, okay, Leeds are building up a little bit of a cash kitty here with the parachute payments, with the 49ers coming in, with the player sales, potentially Jack Harrison, who will be missed. Don't get me wrong, I've given Jack his criticism because I think his ceiling's a lot higher than he's proved at Leeds. But he has been a very good signing for Leeds for what we paid for him and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, him going, if he's got I've been told that apparently he's got in his contract he's got a 17 million quid release clause. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Can Leeds get that sort of money for him? If they can get 20 million for Illan Meslier as well, then you've got 2 players who've gone. You've got now on 40 million quid there to put in the kitty. Marcus, hi Connor. Have you got an opinion on the Championship best players at this moment? Yeah, we have, mate. We'll do it on a separate video. Mate, the look you gave us when talking about Jesse Marsh when we could have gone down Village route. That's the difference, mate. Having good owners and having absolute, terrible owners like we've had. Henderson from Forest, as he's not wanting to be a number 2. Jacob Adler purchased the stadium for 8 million before Rads purchased it back, which is that Lee. I don't think any of what you said is harsh. Connor, bang on with everything you said. Yeah, a lot of people, to be honest, feel like are there with the Shields when it comes to Illan Meslier. And I understand that he's a young lad, but we've been relegated from the Premier League and he's made too many howlers. I understand the defence in front of him are absolutely atrocious, and I've given them pelters as well. And not pelters, but I've given them criticism. They're nowhere near good enough. But as Jamie Carragher said the other day, he's not. Jamie Carragher literally said he's not at this level at this moment in time. When your deficiencies are your distribution, your handling, your communication from the back, and your general shot stopping, if they're your 4 main deficiencies, which they have been this season, and he's gone on a nosedive since Bielsa, as many of them have. But if they're your deficiencies in the Premier League, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. There is a potential that Illan Meslier is going to have to be moved abroad. Okay, guys. Next bit of news. Tyler Adams is expected to depart Leeds United after relegation is confirmed. Several sources, including Phil Hay, is discussing this. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think it's nice to have that notion that you are going down to the Championship with a player that is of a higher quality. That's nice. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen with Adams. He's going to be thinking about his career. I think his career, he was upset when he was at Leipzig because he wasn't getting minutes. I think he wants to play at the highest level continuously. And guys, look, if Newcastle come calling, if whoever comes calling, and they say to him, look, we'll offer you, we'll offer Leeds 15 to 20 million. He's not going to turn around and say, oh, but I want to keep Leeds. I want to stick with Leeds in the Championship. You've literally got you've got Champions League football there. Even as a second player, we've seen it with Phillips. He's been a second player, but he's won the Premier League. Players' ambitions are higher than Leeds United, and just coming down and having that loyalty and respect and adoration for the fans and doing it because, you've been out for the majority of the season and you feel on a lot of those, things that you can't measure. It's like you're hoping that he's got this modicum of a really good personality trait where he's going to come down and be like, I'll do it for Leeds. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, I don't think. So, yeah, but I've said in a previous video, I do think his attributes in the Championship, it'd be great to keep hold of him. He's a leader. He's brilliant. And it'd be like maybe Burnley going down and keeping hold of like Josh Brownhill or something like that. For how important he is for them in terms of a leader and someone who's been there for a bit and is able to, galvanise that side. And obviously the quality that he has as well. But I just think there's going to be too many eyes on him. And I just don't think he's going to be staying. I've heard TA has a 30 million quid release clause. Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about that, which is interesting. If it's a 30 million release clause, I'm not sure many clubs are going to be coming in for him. McAllister says, let's hope we can kick on Connor. We have some quality. What happens to players on 5-year deals? Surely Leeds can say you have to sell to the highest bid. Yeah, they can. They've got, Willie Gnonto's under contract. Leeds need to really dig the heels in here. And, I think a lot of it is Leeds making assurances to players, but also digging the heels in and saying, look, stick with us for 1 year. Stick with us for 1 year. Gnonto, Adams, potentially Sinisterra. Stick with us for a year and we'll see where we are. And you might come up as champions. Maybe. And I think that's a big thing. So yeah, Tyler Adams potentially off. So Leeds United sources are expecting a firm proposal from the 49ers enterprises within the next fortnight to take over. A proposal in the next fortnight. A proposal in the next fortnight. Not an agreement. This is from the Daily Mail, by the way, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Sometimes it can be 50-50. But a proposal, take that word in. And obviously the duration, which is 2 weeks. I don't want a proposal. I want confirmation in 10 days, 7 days, so we can move. If they're doing stuff behind the scenes, fine. If they're doing stuff behind the scenes, great. Like, if they're conducting the managerial talk, if Rads has just given them almost like, they've not confirmed anything, but Rads knows it's going to go through. If he's just given them the reins and they're putting things into place behind the scenes, fantastic. But I don't want to see is a proposal. Maybe that be rejected by Rads because he wants 150 to 160 million. If they go in short, because they know Rads is desperate and put 135, 140 in, Rads knocks it back, and then they have to put a second proposal in. Which they have to get approved by the investment arm that gives San Francisco 49ers the money, obviously. The San Francisco 49ers enterprise is the money, I should say. We've got to get this moving. We've got to get moving, haven't we? We know this. Let's not rest on our laurels. Let's not take our time with this. If this is a month, I'm worried. I am worried. So let's hope it's going on behind the behind the scenes. Let's hope so. But I don't want to see a proposal being put to Radrizzani in 2 weeks' time. To be fair to him, look at what Rads has done with Sampdoria. He's over there. He's got investment from QSI. He's obviously got his ace of capital going in with it as well. To be fair to Rads, how quickly has he turned this round? There was talks of him going and looking at Sampdoria a week ago. 49ers have been minority shareholders now since 2018? Why is this not 2017, 2018? Why is this not sorted? Why have we not got confirmation? Why have we not got a proposal ready that Rads is definitely going to accept? if we're in the Championship, and then one ready for the Premier League? Why is this not already sorted? This is where the worry is a little bit for me, that it's going to take a long time. Fortnight. Let's wait and see on that one. Ominous signs, man. Rads will drag it out as he just always does. Going to be tough for content creators because this smacks of dragging into the new season. It does, and this is where you want to turn around and think Leeds are going to do things differently. It's going to be different this time. It's going to be different. Keep telling myself, Connor, it will be different. They've had a shambolic 2 years. They're an embarrassment. But now it's going to be different. The 49ers are going to take over. But what we've got to bear in mind, everyone, the 49ers gave the approval on the signing of Jorginho Rutter whilst people inside Leeds United didn't want that signing to happen in January. 49ers went through with it. They were the ones who were pushing it. So, you know, they have been culpable as well. 44% of the ownership. They are minority, of course, but they do have a massive say, especially with ownership being changing hands later on down the line. They'll have a bigger influence than you think. They've overseen this. Why have they not got stuff in place right now? Why? Let's hope this changes. Okay. Next on the agenda, US men's national team Brendan Aaronson has a relegation release clause in his contract, and apparently Aaronson is weighing up his options. Aaronson's weighing up his options. So yeah, I think that there's been a couple of reports over the last couple of days sort of confirming that. So it seems like Brendan Aaronson is, when he says weighing up his options, or his agent or whoever is saying weighing up his options, he's thinking about a move away from Leeds United. Obviously for footballing reasons as well. Presumably it's because he thinks he can play higher at the minute. And yeah, he thinks that you know, staying at Leeds United might inhibit his career. Is maybe his American team options. But listen, the American team have had Championship players before. I'm pretty sure they've had League One players before, so I don't think that'll make an impact. And ultimately, you've got to be good enough as well. I can't profess to agree that he's going to get a move to a Premier League club. I'd be stunned. I'd be absolutely bowled over if he got a move to a Premier League club. So when he's assessing his options, this is going to be interesting. Apparently Leeds are talking to players in the next week. Who's going to stay? Who's not going to stay? Do you want to stay or not? When I hear weighing up my options, I'm thinking to myself, well, he's not really all in. He's not really all in. If someone comes in for him, he can go. It's been another failed signing. Let's get someone in, young, hungry, or experienced and hungry, and ready to get Leeds back up. Listen, Aaronson might be weighing up his options and thinking, right, no, but I do want to stay, but I'll listen to other clubs. That's completely understandable. But I'm really interested to know where he thinks he can go. I think for him, a year in the Championship might help him a little bit if he's doing a lot of work in the off-season and developing areas of his game, mentally and physically. But yeah, there's absolutely no. I'd be stunned. I honestly be. That would be I think I'd be more stunned than anything else if he got signing. If he signed for even a promoted side, I really would. So yeah, maybe back to Austria, as Paul's saying. So yeah, we complained about the team not putting effort in. Aaronson and Harrison have put 100% effort in. I'm happy with that, unlike most of the team. Yeah, and you're right, Scott. They have put effort in. Harrison, I think, is in a different conversation to Aaronson because he's got credit in the bank for however many years he's been at Leeds. Harrison's got one goal the entire season, mate. I don't even think he's got an assist, and he's played a lot of football. I understand there's a bedding in period for Leeds United, but I guess, I was saying yesterday the price tag followed Rutter around, but Rutter's not been exposed to any first-team football. Brendan Aaronson has been exposed to first-team football, and whilst we can't measure effort and endeavour like we measure assists and goals are what keeps football teams in the Premier League, and we've got to raise our expectation. The bare minimum is that they put effort in. I want to see quality on the ball. I want to see proper decisions. I want to see a player developing throughout the season when you're getting that amount of game time. I think Brendan Aaronson, I know he's young, but I just don't think it'll work for him at Leeds. So maybe it is right to get rid of him now when his stock is relatively high. But, I'd almost be willing to give him a year in the Championship, and if he's half decent, you either keep him or sell him on there when his stock's even better and he's had a year to progress, Who do I think stays? Who do I think stays? A lot of players. A lot of players. Scott says 3 assists, but is that in the Prem? But Bamford robbed him of 5 or 6. Robbed him 5 or 6. Yeah, and I understand that, of course. But what I will say is I think there was a lot of situations where maybe Bamford was making really good runs, because we know off the ball Bamford's a very good runner, and Aaronson overkicks the ball, or he plays it behind him, or he falls over. You can't just say, and I know Bamford missed a whole host of chances. I understand that, but Aaronson's his delivery and is for me, his ability on the ball is just nowhere near what you need. Subrahama says Matteo Joseph, who by the way I'm excited to see. I can tell you that there are a lot of clubs looking at Joseph at the minute. Somerville, Nonto, Sinistera, Rutter. I don't know if Rutter will be Cam. Archie Gray, who I'm excited to see. Darko, who I'm excited to see. Yelder, Cresswell, Junior Firpo. Firpo's got to go. Please, Subramania. I'm not asking you, but please sell him. Do you think Somerville will stay? Connor, I do. Paul, yeah, I do. I think he'll be good in the Championship. You just need to actually get a manager who wants to play him. That'd be nice. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Josh's final ball's way off. But yeah, guys, we're going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed this 42-minute rant. There's been 1,200 of you, the max we've had in this one. So yeah, thank you so much. We're going to get on to Championship predictions. Don't worry. We're going to get into buy, keep, sell. Yeah, that's all right. That's the right way of going about it. Please, before you leave, like the video. Go over to Instagram, and One Leeds FC is where all the exclusive information is going. If you want some bonus content, we've got some content that was put up yesterday. Car with Connor, which is always a laugh. Links in the description below for the Patreon. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning discussing everything Leeds. We're potentially going to be back tonight with the debrief. We're going to have Generation Leeds in the next 24 to 48 hours. There's content flying out of the One Leeds channel. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your direct messages on Instagram. They've been absolutely heartwarming. Don't listen to the haters. If you got haters, you're doing well. Guys, appreciate your support. Appreciate your interaction once again. And I will catch you tomorrow for a stream, or tonight for the debrief. See you in a bit. Cheers.